Hello everyone, in today's video I will share with you a little bit more about cubes, what are the differences and why do people select one cube from another. In the video we've got 3 cubes. This is the most common one, the one which we call black, okay, so it has black sides here. And then this is what we call the colored ones. So there's a white one in which the corners here are all white, this is black, this is colored. Of course for colored ones we have different colors, so over here would be the baby blue and here's the dark blue version. And then for this case, the blue looks like that. So to put them in the same direction, they will look somewhat like this. Okay, now why do people choose one cube from another? First of all, this is the most common cube that we see people use when they practice, okay? And these cubes are also allowed for competition. These cubes, however, may not be allowed for certain official competitions. In fact, most of them will not allow these cubes for official competitions. And the reason why, even though it looks nice, it looks quite cool, like if you ask me, I think these look really cool, is because when you turn the cube this way, you can actually see what is the color at the side, this cube here. So it kind of like becomes a cheat in that sense. You see, if I'm holding this cube this way, if I'm just looking at this direction, I will not be able to tell what is the color on this side of the cube, right? But this one allows me to see what is the color on this side of the cube. So if I mess this up, in any old way, and I do this, I can tell immediately that here is white and this side here is green. Okay, so it forms as a bit of an unfair advantage in terms of competitive cubing. Like here I know it's yellow and here is blue. Whereas for this, it's a standard black on the sides here. You will not be able to tell what is the color of the sticker on this side unless you kind of peer over or look over. Okay, so that really is one of the main differences between this cube and these kind of cubes. The other reason why people choose these kind of cubes is because they look pretty cool. Okay, and the colors are really nice. You can see the colors are quite fancy as compared to these cubes. Now these cubes too will have different shades of green, orange and blue, yellow and red depending on the brand that you get your cube from. However, their colors are generally quite similar as compared to what you see down here. These are quite diverse colors. Even though they are both green, the green can be quite different. So this is yellow. You can see over here is a strong yellow and here is kind of like a pastel yellow. Alright, so now let's talk a little bit more about these cubes. Why do people choose one cube from another and how do they actually choose? There are a couple of reasons why and we're going to cover just a few down here. First of all, let us define the type of people who are buying cubes. Some people buy cubes because they really enjoy how nice the cube feels when it spins. And they go kind of like for the reason of a nice cube that feels nice in their hands when they're moving the cube around. It feels great and therefore they like the cube. So even when I'm playing with these 3 cubes, each cube actually spins quite differently. You can see for some cube, I can spin the sides quite easily, and then for some, it's quite rigid. So this one is a little hard to handle as compared to the other two. Of course, lubricating the cube may make a bit of difference, but it is more than just the lubrication. It's actually the cutting of the cubes inside. Okay, and how tightly bound the cube is. So in this case, between these 2 cubes, this one is easier to spin and turn. Alright, mainly because the way it is made. This one here, however, is a little hard to spin. And of course, this one here is really easy to spin. You can see it's just very comfortable and nice to use. Okay, so this is one of the main reasons why people choose one cube from another, and this is the first category of people who choose cubes because they're looking for a cube that feels nice in their hands. And then there's a second category of people who choose cubes because of trend. So any new cube that comes out, they would rush for that cube, and they just rush for any model or brand of cube just because everybody says it's good. So when magnetic cubes came out and it was kind of the latest trend, a lot of people actually rushed for that. Okay, and of course there were sellers who were banking on that and just brought in a lot of these magnetic cubes. So it depends on what kind of buyer you are. Are you like the one who rushes after trends, whether they're good or bad, or are you the one who rushes after skill, who want to know how to solve the cube properly and what's the fastest way to solve a cube? Now essentially, if you're really good at cubing, the type of cube will not really affect how you solve the cube or how fast you solve the cube. What I mean is this: supposing I give a professional cuber an average cube, he would probably be able to solve this in about 5 to 10 seconds, maybe at most 20 seconds. But you can give a very good cube, a magnetic cube or whatever cube you want, to somebody who just kind of like solves the cube in 2 minutes, and that person will still take around 2 minutes to solve the cube, even if it's a magnetic cube. Okay, so it's not really the cube that makes the huge difference. It is a huge part the skill of the player who makes the difference. So when you are choosing a cube, it really depends on whether you are someone who rushes after the trends, just going after everything new, whether they are good or not, or you're somebody who focuses on what feels good in your hands, what feels nice, and the skill behind solving the cube. Now let's talk a little bit more about the cube. So I explained to you that the first criteria is how nice it feels in your hands, because every cube will feel different. Some cubes feel lighter, some are heavier, some spin really fast, and some spin much slower. Okay, so it really depends on what kind of cube you like, and everybody has different energy and strength level, right? Like for me, maybe I prefer heavier cubes because they're nicer to hold. I feel like there's some weight in there, but at times I do like cubes which are really light because they give me a lot of control. I feel like, you know, it's just speedy and fast. It's just the kind of feel that you have with each cube, and that's why every cube makes a difference. The second criteria of choosing a cube will be the cutting. There are two kinds of cutting. Okay, the first one is the forward cut, which means that if I put this at this angle here and I cut my cube this way, you can see if I move my cube this way upwards, it snaps into the position. Can you see that? Now, cheaper cubes may not be able to do this. If I do this on a cheap cube, the cube may, this portion here may just fly off, right? May pop off, and that's what we call pop. Now, so the one that we are looking out for now is the angle in which we can snap back. Okay, so I give you an example. Supposing I'm solving a cube now, and because of the speed, I accidentally solved the cube and it got stuck in this position. If I've got a good cube that allows me to have a good angle of snapping back, say example like this amount, you can see it's almost 45 degrees. Then by pulling this a bit, it snaps into position, right? So I don't have to care much about having this portion of the cube going straight on top of the other cube here, this small one here, before it moves up. Okay. If we use this cube may have a smaller angle of snapback. Can you see that? If I try to put it at 45 degrees, similar to the other one, I will not be able to move it. And even, yeah, you can see that, even at a small angle, it is hard to snap back. Okay, so this cube snaps back at a very much smaller angle, and this is what we call the forward snap. Okay, snap back. I can't get it to move. So if you are working with this cube and you're really moving really fast, you may come to a point where you try to push the cube back. I mean, you try to push the side back and then you get stuck. Okay, so you have to push it properly again before you start moving on, and that may slow your speed. And so that is one of the other criteria that people look out for when they are choosing cubes. Let's try this cube now at around this angle. Still a bit hard to snap back, but it does do a little better than this one here. Okay, so I've gone through how important it is for a cube to be easy to control. I've then gone through how important it is to have this angle of snap back. Okay, forward snap. So from here, if I push forward, it snaps back. Now how about the other one? The third one will be this one here, when you have it also at an angle, but you are moving it forward this way. That means this time you are moving this side towards yourself, and there should be a certain level of snap back too. Okay, so it snaps into position. I'm using a lot of layman terms because I believe that cubing should be an enjoyable activity, and I do not want to weigh you down with so many technical terms. Okay, so basically what you want is a good angle in which you can snap back by pushing forward, and a good angle when you snap back by pushing backwards. Okay, that means towards yourself, and one that can do both would be excellent. So let's go through what we have learned in this video. The first thing we have learned is what are the differences between different cubes. Are they all the same? And what cubes are actually better? The second thing we learned is on how people choose cubes. So the first way will be in terms of how they feel in your hands, not just by weight, but also by when you use the cubes and when you spin the cubes, how it feels. All right. And then the second way will be the snap angle. So some can do it at 45 degrees, some less than that. And of course, the last one would be when you try to snap it forward. Okay, so again, the angle affects how much it snaps. All right, and of course, the last thing before we end this video is on the pop. Some cubes, when you try to pop it back into position, or when you solve it really fast, okay, they may suddenly just break apart or pop off. Now, those cubes may not be very good for high-speed cubing. So these are the consideration factors when deciding which cube to get. Ultimately, to me, what is important when choosing your cube is really to focus on the skill instead of just the trend or the colors or what people are getting. I think it's very important, unless you're cubing for a living, I think it's very important to just choose a cube that you feel comfortable to work with and enjoy cubing. At the end of the day, cubing has to be something that you really enjoy to do and have lots of fun doing, instead of just focusing on the competitive nature of it. With that, I will end today's video. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you do like this content, please remember to check out the playlist for all the Novelty Guy products. We'll have a lot of fun teaching you more about cubes and more about many other novelty items. And more importantly, please do leave us a subscribe and a like in this video. With that, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much and see you next time. Stay cool, stay awesome, and be your best always. Bye.